Okay. Welcome everybody to a exciting match of L5R that's going to be coming up in a second. This is going to be the first match of round 4 of the Discord World Cup between the second and third best teams in the in the tournament right now. That's Spain and Greece. So right now we're going to have Crab versus Phoenix. So Greece's Phoenix gzoymp versus Spain's Crab Daigotsu Kaikou. Dana Chris. Let me take a look at the deck list while they are doing their stuff. And just make sure that I have everything open. Looks like I do. But yeah, so this is the crab list for Spain. It was submitted by Usagi. But this is a pretty standard crab list. This is sort of what they look like now, with the Tattooed Wanderers, the Lekos, and of course your main boy, Butcher of the Fallen. So these two cards right here are sort of the X Factor, with the Oushi and the Yakumo. But most notably, this list is on 2 Wicked Tetsubo, which is a pretty good call for the meta. Right before this submission, there were a lot of tower-type decks like Dragon and Lion, so Wicked Tetsubo obviously putting in work against those kind of decks. Meanwhile, for the Phoenix, this is a pretty standard mid-range Phoenix out of IMS. With the Dragon Splash, with the Lekos and the Ancient Masters. Add a Seeker for Consumed by 5 Fires, which could put into work here against the Crab player. 3 Consumed by 5 Fires, which is kind of a lot. And then some interesting tech choices over here on the Dynasty side with the Sukune, the Haughty Magistrate, the Acolyte Koyane. A lot of stuff going on here for sure. So a lot of toolboxy action going on in the Dynasty. 41 cards in the Conflict deck. Maybe one too many, but still got some sauce here to deal with the Crab player. So we have started already on this side, so let's go ahead and talk about what's happened so far. Looks like Crab has only bought a Gallant Quartermaster for the Dynasty phase so far. Meanwhile, a Asakatsuki comes down for gzoymp on the Phoenix side. So, for those of you who are just tuning in now, please be aware that this is the English stream. If you're looking to listen in Spanish, then there is another stream going on hosted by the Spanish L5R scene, Good Omen L5R. Si quieres ver en español, ve a twitch.tv/goodomenl5r. Alright, so first conflict here for the Phoenix player who's going first. Obviously, he's going to do a Void attack here. Could potentially get rid of this Witch Hunter. This is a pretty good start for the Crab player with the Witch Hunter and the Gallant Quartermaster. Obviously, just printing money with the Quartermaster here. Sacrifices the Witch Hunter, get 2 conflicts. Revels comes in. Revels is blank. One thing I've noticed is that this Crab list is not running either of the Eminent Provinces. So this Keeper Water. No City of the Rich Frog, no Shinsei's Last Hope. Both those provinces are shown to be pretty strong, but looking like Crab is taking a more conservative approach to the row, not wanting to give some free farm provinces to your opponent. Double defense here seems pretty smart. It's going to be a defense of 3 for the Crab. I'll move this thing out the way. 5 Fate still on deck for gzoymp. Bilingual stream win. My Spanish is not great. I'm limited to what I can remember from high school, plus what I can pick up from random Spanish songs that I listen to. I've learned a lot of Spanish from Enrique Iglesias. And Pitbull. Alright, so court games, it gets traded here. Court games discards court games. So Defender's still winning here. Gzoymp's going to have another pump, but it doesn't look like he's going to have much. I don't think this deck really has anything else besides court games. You could Storm here, but Storming for one doesn't seem that great. So it looks like he's going to take the conservative route and just go ahead and pass. So Kaikou's going to win the conflict. Going to get the restand now with the Witch Hunter. We could see a restand from gzoymp. We didn't see a Clarity come out, so maybe against the waves for the last conflict. Kaikou's going to go ahead and pass. I guess he's waiting for gzoymp to go ahead and do his conflict here. What about Bad Bunny? The only song that I can think of, I don't listen to very much Bad Bunny. I know that he's pretty good, but I've only heard him on the song. Who's on that song? He's on the Beyonce song, I think, right? Am I streaming or playing this week? I'm streaming. I do not play in that event, but I will gather much information and send out as many minions as possible to get some info on some decks that I want to be testing out. Alright, so Witch Hunter stands here after gzoymp plays an Ancient Master at home. I'm going to go ahead and defend this conflict here instead of making his own attack. Ancient Master going to poke in for Void Ring. We see a defense from the Witch Hunter. Maybe see a Bonsai come out from gzoymp. Either one doesn't seem particularly great. One thing to note is gzoymp actually kind of giving up the favor here, unless he has another Ancient Master in hand. Kaikou's going to go ahead and pass. Let's see if we see the second Ancient Master. There are 3 in this list, so it could be very easy to see another one here, or just a Against the Waves restand. Use the box to get the favor. Ancient Master does come out indeed, so he will box that one and go up to 4 Glory. 4 Glory will get him the favor in this case. That also means that gzoymp now has no fate going into the next turn. Meanwhile, 2 fate for Kaikou. Going to keep this library around. Meanwhile, we have the little Econ Chuds being kept for Kaikou. I think it's a pretty smart choice given the fact that he has a sack outlet on board. Only really needs to see one more thing, which he does. The Crisis Breaker. Crisis Breaker pretty good. Able to restand himself here. So doesn't even have to waste a Witch Hunter on it. Yeah, Rosh, I'll let you know for sure. I probably will, because casting 5 rounds of Swiss by myself is a little tiring on the vocal cords. Thank you for linking me a playlist of Bad Bunny. Someone else paying me right now too? Oh, okay. Oh, it's only one song? Soy peor. I'm poor. Alright. Dynasty Buys went out here, and so now we're starting to see some of this toolbox for gzoymp. I actually don't know if he has Storm or not. I might have misremembered that. Because now we're seeing this Meddling Mediator come out, and once you see the Courtiers, you tend not to see some of the Shigenja stuff. I know he has at least Sukune in here, so Shigenja density not as high as some of the other older Phoenix lists. Meanwhile, we see the econ stuff come out. We actually didn't see the Crisis Breaker being bought because he went for the Student of Anatomies instead. Student of Anatomy is obviously a really powerful card, and another sack outlet for him to go ahead and sack these two the Quartermaster and the Envoy. We see a poke here into Shameful Display, and we're going to get a defense from the Ancient Master. Most likely what we're going to see is just this conflict be over here, but we will have an Honored Ancient Master available for gzoymp. Yeah, so that's just going to be a plain poke here. Chess clock's moving pretty quickly. Both players playing briskly, which is good to see. Never like to see a game end by time, but the option is there because this is in fact a timed format. Can't be having people slow play the whole time. Alright, poke time for gzoymp. I think we're going to see a lot of poking here, just because both of these decks want to try to develop a board as soon as they can, or as fast as they can, but it does take time to get there. The Kuni Lab in the bin for Kaikou. Phoenix in particular, especially this IMS build, is a very slow-moving deck. They are resilient, but it is slow to get going for sure because you don't have any real I win right now cards. A lot of stuff requires you to have a developed board, and it takes time to get there. Alright, yeah, so just poking with the Water Ring. Keeper of Water there actually ends up giving a fate to Kaikou, but in the process he does get the Water Ring, which allows him to go ahead and honor Suki. Gives him a little more strength to attack with. We see a student trigger the Gallant Quartermaster, and we will blank the Meddling Mediator. There are no other good targets on the board right now, other than maybe Suki, I guess, if you really wanted to deal with her. But the Meddling Meteor might be a little bit more important, because if you notice, gzoymp actually bid 3 instead of bidding 5 here, which means he might be taking more of a dishonor angle. And so Meddling Mediator certainly prevents that, or accelerates that process, not prevents. Again, for those of you who are just tuning in, right now the Spanish stream, I believe, is still ongoing. Let me just check real quick and see. I'll post a link in a second. And just make sure that they're running. If they are, then I will link it. Oh, yeah. It appears that they are live, so. So yeah, for whatever reason you don't want to listen to me speak in English, or because you are a native Spanish speaker and would like to listen to the Spanish commentary, please go ahead and tune into their stream. I'll post the link right now. That is Good Omen L5R. They are the Spanish L5R community, so make sure to tune into that. Si quiere ver en español. No, we talked about this already. I'm not going to be streaming in Spanish, sorry. Alright, so Reprieve comes out in the Student of Anatomies. There is the 1x assassination in gzoymp's list, so definitely a potential threat here. I think maybe if you wanted to assassinate, he probably would have done it a little bit earlier. And just get rid of this Student of Anatomies. Interesting here that we're seeing Reprieve come out, and Watch Commander. Weird sequencing here for Kaikou. I don't totally understand what he's going for. I guess he wanted to get the reprieve first before he put the Watch Commander on, but at the same time, that's, I guess, an extra window for your opponent not to have Watch Commander played. We're going to see a Censure to cancel Bonsai here. Watch Commander will trigger on the Censure. Bonsai, Katana, and Watch Commander. A lot of military pump there, and with the cancel on Bonsai, that should put an end to Kaikou's ability to go over this, unless he wants to spend like another Katana or start playing some conflict characters into this conflict. Haven't seen a rebuild yet. Interesting that he decided to play Censure on the Bonsai rather than save it for something like rebuild. That to me tells me that he probably has another cancel in hand, and so therefore he's not afraid to go ahead and use it for the short-term tempo boost. We'll see if that was a bait, because if it was, then the rebuild will get off. That'll allow him to rebuild this Kuni Lab that's in there. Chooses to restand the Steadfast Witch Hunter now. I don't know if he's going to save this for the next conflict, or if he's going to try to put the Witch Hunter into this conflict. That'll give him +4, make it 8-6, which would not be breaking yet. Maybe he just wants to have the Witch Hunter as a defender and just chose to sacrifice the Envoy now as opposed to later. Doesn't make a huge difference, but I guess there could be some things, some weird sequencing things that would make that not the best play. Alright, so this Rebel's just going to farm now in political. Student of Anatomies comes into the conflict, I guess just to put the Watch Commander there for additional pressure. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference here. Yeah, Gzoymp's going to pass. Fight On. Okay, so Fight On allows us to restand the Student of Anatomies. I don't think that this deck has very much political pump outside of Storm, which is only +1. And actually, I don't think it's on Storm. Yeah, I guess he could have drawn something that could have been used in that battle for sacrificing then. Yeah, so Kaikou's going to win that conflict there. Glory's going to be tied. Favor's going to stay with Gzoymp. Means Kaikou will be first player next turn with a Fate on the Earth Ring. Ujina flip for Gzoymp. It seems pretty good against Crab in particular. You can definitely just delete some of these things. You can either burn the Reprieve or just delete this Witch Hunter. We also see a Magnificent Lighthouse. Okay, sure, why not? Let's watch the Lighthouse do Lighthouse things. So I would expect, yeah, Solemn Scholar and probably Ujina buy. Maybe Gzoymp goes for 5 fires here. He does have enough Fate to do it, so it wouldn't be the worst decision in the world. Otherwise, we're probably just going to see this Ujina on like 2 or 3. Meanwhile, Butcher comes out for Kaikou. Discarding an Iron Mine and an Envoy in the process. Butcher right now, super online, but I'm sure Gzoymp has at least a Cloud available for him. We have not seen a Let Go from Kaikou yet. Only 3 cards played so far. And yeah, Heated Guardian coming out for the extra +2/+2 currently. We could see a rebuild at any point in time. So, library time. He chose not to use Lighthouse before the draw phase. We see Kaikou drop down to 3 because Gzoymp drops down to 1. So cards are going to be even here. Meanwhile, Kaikou's sitting at 6 honor. So pressure's on. You know, Crab definitely the kind of deck that can sort of exist at low honor. so not super threatening here. And Student of Anatomies obviously can sacrifice something. Probably this Heated Guardian if he wants to blank Ugina. Looks like he's going for Earth first. I guess, you know, there's not a ton of value in going for Void this early, unless you just want to get rid of the Witch Hunter. Looks like he's trying to decide. It looks like he'd rather turn on the student, or the scholar rather. Didn't see a Cloud of Mind come down on the Butcher, so maybe we could see it next turn or next conflict. Just wanted to snag that Fate first. 5 Fate on the board for gzoymp. 5 Fires now on. I doubt that we see it here though with the Reprieve on the Student of Anatomies. But killing a Butcher is pretty good still. I definitely don't hate that. You know, Crab definitely has ways to circumvent that though, although we do see the 1 Reprieve on the Student of Anatomies, so that's 1 less save available for Crab, and there's also the Iron Mine in the bin. Just the 1 Iron Mine though. We'll see a defense from the Heated Guardian and the Student of Anatomies here on Earth Ring. Now we're going to Lighthouse. Okay. Alright, so he nabs a fight on. So, only 1 fight on left for Kaikou. And he did the Lighthouse before the draw from the Fertile Field, so Kaikou, or gzoymp now knows what the next card is that he drew. Just the pass here, so no activation on the Solemn Scholar. Still sitting on 5 Fate. We could see the Cloud drop in a second. No, we can't. We don't because gzoymp passed. So very likely just military attack in here. Go Water, try to restand the Student of Anatomies. Going to Shameful, none of these people can block. We already saw 2 conflict characters come down for gzoymp, so I think he just has to let this pass. Maybe Display of Power coming here as well. Shameful Display. Unfortunately, going to break without any defenders. Always a tragedy. Display of Power comes out. Alright, we're going to see the bow on the Witch Hunter, I believe. Of course, the Witch Hunter restand still available, and also Common Cause is a card available to Kaikou as well. So I wouldn't count any of these people out. You know, we're going to see the Witch Hunter on the Student of Anatomies to restand that for the military attack. The Student of Anatomy sitting at 4 military. And now here comes the Void. So I think if you're gzoymp, you're looking to void off the Student of Anatomies, make him burn the Reprieve. You could potentially have a let go for that Reprieve. We have not seen a let go from gzoymp either, although he might be saving that for something more valuable. This is still pretty good though. You get rid of a Watch Commander and a Reprieve this way. How many fight-ons have been used? It's just been 1 fight-on was used and 1 was discarded by the Lighthouse, so one's still available for gzoymp. For Kaikou rather. Kaikou forges here, gonna dig for something. He finds an Iron Mine with that. Pretty solid here. We'll be able to save the Witch Hunter. Witch Hunter or the Student of Anatomies. I think if you're gzoymp, you actually consider burning the Ugina effect on the Witch Hunter. That way, it forces him to burn the mine, and then if you have a let go for that Reprieve, okay, there's the last fight on, so maybe he's not going to win this conflict. So all 3 fight on gone now in the top in the first 5 cards played. IMS activation on the Ancient Master. And Wicked Tetsubo comes out now on the Butcher of the Fallen. So Wicked Tetsubo effect, don't forget, only works on offense. So right now it's just a +1/+1. Shouts in the chat to Action Johnny, who is tuning in from wherever the hell he's coming from. Katana comes out on Ujina, okay. Takes his went down to 12 honor with that Watch Commander activation. And we see a let go on the Fine Katana. That does mean it's another. That's one let go down for Clouds. If Gzoymp can draw another Cloud before next turn. Let go on Watch Commander now. Okay. Interesting. I guess he has to go for the Watch Commander here because it's actually giving stats. Interesting that he didn't go for the Tetsubo. I almost feel like maybe the Tetsubo was a better choice, but I guess the logic is that Butcher is going to break whatever province that it goes into anyway, so it doesn't matter if you remove it from the Butcher. Yes, I know that you're from Vancouver. I meant, like, I didn't know what you were doing earlier in the day. All right, so let go happened on Watch Commander. Let go now on the Fine Katana. And now a Cloak and Knight comes out on this Ancient Master. So after the let goes are exchanged, we are now still seeing Gzoymp ahead in the conflict. Gzoymp kind of low on cards right now. Down to 7. Is winning the conflict, would get this Void Ring, and would be able to hit one of these dudes with the Hakai. Probably go for the Student or the Witch Hunter, force him to burn some of these saves. Yeah, 2 let goes burn for Kaikou now, which is a lot. And we see a Tattoo Wanderer come down. I'm going to put him up to 12 on defense. Because I'm kind of running out of sauce here. I don't believe he has used Bonsai. I don't know if he has Bonsai. I should take a look at the list, actually. Let me do this, just to make sure. Alright, so yeah, he has 1 Storm and 3 Bonsai, so we could easily see one of these two things. Gzoymp right now, probably trying to figure out if he wants to spend more resources into this conflict. It seems pretty important to me, I think, to get this Void Ring off. And another Cloak of Night now being played on this Ancient Master. This Ancient Master has like 10 glory. Yep. That's pretty insane. And so now Rebuild comes out for Kuni Lab. No censure for Gzoymp. So the Kuni Lab will go through. That's 2 rebuilds now for... Oh no, only 1 rebuild, sorry. And now Let Go comes out on the Wicked Tetsubo. So 4 out of 6 Let Go's now burned. Game has gone to bid ones. I don't think this game has gone all the way to bid one. I would actually expect Gzoymp to go ahead and bid a little bit higher here. I mean, he does have the library, which is good. It'll help him keep afloat. And now we see the Student blank Ujina. So all of this seems like it was kind of for naught. I actually had forgotten that the student hadn't been used yet. So he chooses to defate this butcher. I guess just get it on track to die faster. Seems okay. There's one people in favor here. A lot of resources spent on both sides for what was seemingly kind of a nothing conflict. Literally, basically nothing transpired as a result of that. And now Kaikou choosing to keep the Kuni Lab. Meanwhile, for Gzoymp, not the most impressive of flops. We do see a Mia Mystic, which is pretty good. Will allow him to target, this reprieve or something else that comes down for Kaikou. Yeah, Clouding Butcher still seems pretty strong here. It would allow him to not die, although Butcher could still possibly run into. I guess his province run is pretty safe, right? Because he has KM and Seppuku Seto, so it's not like the Butcher has a ton of ability to break whatever province he runs into. And the last one's a UA, so you actually kind of want him to break that. So. If anything, I feel like Cloud on Student of Anatomies might be a little stronger. That way it'll allow your Ujinas to actually start firing. Kaiku's going to go down now to 5 honor, so we are staying at 1 bids. I guess Gzoymp is kind of content with his hand. He chose not to buy this Fearsome Mystic, which is whatever. Meddling Mediator actually kind of huge for this this turn. Because that's the difference between 5 and 4, and that's a pretty big difference. Kaikou's clock is now ticking. Down to 22 minutes for the Spain. For those of you who are just joining, this is game 1 of round 4 between the undefeated Greece and Spain. Spanish Crab versus Greek Phoenix. And we see an attack here into Seppuku Seto, so that's pretty good for Kaikou, because now he knows we're definitely not to attack. We're just going to see a defense here with the Mia Mystic, who has Glory 1, as opposed to the Tattooed Wanderer with Glory 0. And we're just going to go ahead and burn the Reprieve now. So Fertile Fields, Midnight Revels, 2 unrevealed provinces left for Kaikou. We are probably going to see a poke here into this this Iron Mine just to see what's behind it. It is Shameful Display. Not the greatest thing to see here. We're going to see a defense from the Student of Anatomies, who's going to be at a 3 as well. But push Shameful, that'll be 2 strength for the Meddling Mediator. Meddling Mediator actually going to be able to activate here. Unless Kaikou chooses not to attack, which is doesn't seem great. This is Void Ring, so we are going to see Kaikou have to go ahead and sacrifice this Tattooed Wanderer to go ahead and blank Ujina. Otherwise, he risks losing this Iron Mine no matter what happens here. Again, guys, if you're looking for the Spanish stream, go ahead and tune into Good Omen L5R, Good Omen L5R, Twitch.tv, BT Dubs. Alright, so the conflict has been initiated. I guess right now Kaikou is trying to figure out what he wants to defend with. Defending with the Heated Guardian does seem kind of aggressive. I don't think you need to have the Guardian in there to win this conflict. And even if you lose this conflict, it's not super impactful, right? Because like you're just losing. I mean, losing a Heated Guardian is a big deal, sure, but it's just a Heated Guardian. Your investment level was low for this character who generates so many stats. Shameful Display going to go out here, so that will put gzoymp now at losing, attacking with 2 strength because of the Dishonor token. Kuni Lab right now boosting Student of Anatomies up to Robust 3. My understanding is that there will be a game, in fact, after this one. They're playing 2 games today, back-to-back. Spanish team versus Greek team. Next matchup would be, I believe it was stated as Scorpion versus Lion. Spanish Scorpion versus Greek Lion. So, Gwydion versus the wonderful Bill Curlis army. We're going to see Ugina actually move into the conflict now, so this is actually putting Shameful Display at breaking, which will allow him to discard this Iron Mine. We have seen 1 rebuild so far from Kaikou, and we're down to bid 1, so I believe only 1 or 2 cards have been drawn since that time, and yeah, we're going to go ahead and blank Ugina here. Clarity to Purpose will keep Ugina from bowing. It's a pretty good sequence so far from gzoymp. And this will let him void off the Heated Guardian and discard this Iron Mine should he win the conflict. Give me 1 second, folks, while I check my work email, make sure nothing bad's going on while I'm doing this. Alright, so Shameful Display is going to go ahead and break here. And we are going to see the Iron Mine discarded. Void on the Heated Guardian. We did see a Tattooed Wanderer come down into the conflict there to try to stop the break. But a fan was played on Ugina, so that puts him over the top. Still standing now with the fan on. Yeah, now we're going to see a double attack here with the Heated Guardian too. So that's pretty good because this is going to allow Kaikou to actually break Sampuku Sato, get rid of this library, get card advantage back on his side. He's going with Fire Ring. That seems okay, I guess. You just go ahead and dishonor Ugina. This is the second conflict, so that means that he is going to have an honor stolen from him by this meddling mediator. Nobody can defend this because Butcher is a card. He could potentially have the last Ancient Master in his hand. That would be pretty strong, but he does not. So Sampo Crusader will break. I guess a reasonable exchange here, and we're going to see Fire Ring to go ahead and dishonor Ujina, I believe. He hasn't used Mediator yet. I mean, he can use it now. It's not conflict locked, so he can just do it whenever. Or he can forget to use it. Yeah, so he chose to go ahead and dishonor Ujina. Seems smart. Reprieve comes out on Butcher of the Fallen. That's pretty good. We have already seen 2 Let Goes burned from gzoymp. We have not seen a third. Although the third does exist. Okay, there's the Meddling Meteor. He's going to take that fate, the honor rather. This will put Crab down to 3 honor, which is pretty low. He will gain an honor from the Student of Anatomy's leaving play, which will leave him at 4. But Kuni Lab becomes riskier and riskier by the second, right? Because it'll put you down to 3. I think you can still keep it for at least 1 more turn. How many labs are gone? This is the only lab. This one got rebuilt. We have not seen the rest of the labs yet. Kaikou's going to pass. And Earthring here hits a Wicked Tetsubo. That's pretty good. Seems solid. Especially given that there is still a Berserker on the board and another one waiting in the wings. Actually, 2 Berserkers just chilling there in the Province row. Alright, so Reprieve will keep the Butcher around, so it's just going to be the Butcher and the Tattooed Wanderer staying around for this next turn here. Probably going to go ahead and keep both of these Berserkers. Both the Akuma and the Crisis Breaker. 2-1 on breaks. And he actually gets rid of the Kuni Lab. I guess there is... it is pretty risky, right? And I guess as long as you have Butcher out, you don't really need to have the extra stat boost because no one's going to be blocking that anyway. Nice flip here. Flips another Student of Anatomies, and the Kaikou 4 just comes back, so he's going to be able to dig for either a mine or a another lab. I believe 2 mines have been burned, and I think he's on 3, I want to say. I'll check real quick. Yeah, he's on 3. Fearsome Mystic. Actually seeing play here. Don't forget this text box on this character. For those of you who haven't seen it since core set, it gets +2 glory during air conflicts, and it has a Mono no Ware type effect on participating characters who have lower glory than this character, which is pretty much all of Crab's characters. But yeah, Chad pointing out that the flips on gzoymp sides are still pretty strong. He has the Yojimbo and the Favorable Ground. He chooses not to buy the Yojimbo. Okay, that's interesting, I guess. But Favorable Ground definitely pretty huge. Will actually allow him to defend against this Butcher of the Fallen, which ordinarily he would not be able to do. Gzoymp passes, so yeah, he gets a passing fate, but he's not going to be able to buy anything. Meanwhile, Student of Anatomies is going to come out. Also pretty huge here. It does have a viable sacrifice target in the Tattooed Wanderer. Keeping 5 fate for 5 fires, sure. That could definitely happen. Ooh, even better sacrifice target here with the Kaikou Envoy. One bids all around. Yeah, I mean, right now, right now it's so. I guess there aren't a lot of ways for gzoymp to uh, pressure honor, but he can just just leave the foot where it is and just kind of hope that Kaikou slowly dies. Chad asking, do I remember Torador's proposed Worlds card in case he won Worlds? Destroyed by 15 fires? Was it 15 or was it 10? I mean, I guess 15 definitely sounds a lot more dramatic, and I would love to see that card. Um, but yeah. Here's a Way of the Crab. This is going to force Kaikou to go ahead and sacrifice a character. I think most likely he's just going to go ahead and pitch this this Solemn Scholar here. I think you're okay with not winning this Void Ring. But he is going to move Ujina in. Okay, so he's going to move into Upholding Authority. So this is a political conflict. He could have another Clarity. He IMS Ujina. Okay. Yeah, he dropped himself so he isn't breaking Upholding Authority, which is fine. Favorable ground is going to be found with the Caillou Forges, which is good because that allows the defense here. Or no, he doesn't defend. He chooses to run favorable ground. To pick favorable ground instead of something like Iron Mine, so we are going to see this Butcher Chine. The Butcher is Shine. I guess he just didn't find the Iron Mine, so I mean there was only one left. It's very possible that it was either one of these two face down cards or one of the bottom 8 or bottom 13 actually. So or bottom it would be it'd be bottom 3. So that's unfortunate there for Kaikou. But great news for gzoymp, who is now this looks to me like he's pretty ahead. Yeah, chat pointing out this is what happens when you spank your Let Goes. Yeah, kind of short-sighted use of Let Go earlier in this matchup. And now we're going to see a Korimori attack. Which, interestingly enough, I guess Kaikou's actually winning. He's up to 4-4. Oh, this is military, sorry. Yeah, so 5-3. We will probably see a flip. We could honestly see a flip over to to Void. Or is he just going to change to political here? Yeah, the Let Goes were definitely value in that one conflict, right? But then you run into a situation where in the long game you still need these Let Goes because Cloud the Mind is so threatening to your existence, right? You need to be able to have your Student of Anatomies online. You need to have your Butcher online as long as you can, and without it, you kind of die to a lot of things that Phoenix can do to you. Alright, so interesting, I guess, that he changed the conflict to Paul. and still lost, mind you. So he didn't have like clarity. He didn't have any other kind of pump to win the conflict. Earth Ring hits a consume by 5 fires. I'm sure gzoymp is totally okay with that. I have to imagine he has at least 2 in his hand prior to the Earth Ring. Okay, against the waves now to restand the Mystic. His last conflict is military, so he needed to have somebody at least with a military stat. Runs into Midnight Revels. He just wants this to either force the defense. I guess. If you're actually trying to win this air ring, I think you have to go to Fertile Fields. Because now we're going to see the defense here. Actually, we could see Tadaka come in. He's been sitting on 6 Fate for a while, so Tadaka over the Fierce Mystic would be pretty strong. Yeah, there he is. And so now we're going to get a look-sees at Kaikou's hand. If he had any reprieves, well, he's probably not going to play him on either of these 2 characters for sure. Could potentially have a rebuild, so we might see an early rebuild here. I think we've only seen 2 rebuilds so far, so the last one definitely still alive. No, it's just the one. I keep getting confused, guys. I keep seeing the Kaikou forges. So it is only just the 1 rebuild so far. Kaikou's going to pass, which means now we're going to get some Tadaka action going. Go ahead and pitch some of these cards and see what we got. Yeah, just go ahead and look at his whole hand. Still have 1 to 3 characters left for next turn. Get to take a look at the 6 cards in his hand. 6 random cards, it says, but if you only have 6 cards in your hand, then it's the whole hand. That's what we call math. Reminder for anybody who is just joining that there is another game after this one. It is a back-to-backer, doubleheader. It's going to be Scorpion versus Lion. Spanish Scorpion versus Greek Lion. And he takes the reprieve. So we do see his hand. I guess Defend Your Honor, Assassination, Way of the Crab, Fine Katana, Reprieve, Way of the Crab. Reprieve seems like probably the most value here. Assassination is literally dead. So we're slowly chipping away at the honor total here. 2 honor left for Kaikou. 2 labs still left in the deck. So some landmines available here. Ooh, Ujina dupe is no bueno. But make sure, because gzoymp here needs to be sure to buy, this Dreamer or the Scholar first. Otherwise, he's gonna take a beating here. Now, if you are gzoymp, I think there is some merit in buying something and then using Season of War. You do know that there are 2. You can buy out your board here and try to make him flip over the last 2 Kuni labs and then kill him that way. Is it better to just let Ujina take the fall and just buy another Ujina? No, I mean, I don't think you want to spend fate that you don't have to. I don't think you care about this Ujina being dishonored, to be totally honest. And he is clicking on Season of War. Is he going to go for the play? I would like to see him go for it because at the very least you're milling 4 cards from your opponent, and when you can't use Q Nikita that way, so you turn his box off. He's going to be at 7 cards left. He's not going to do it. Okay, I guess the library is too valuable for you to give up. That's your last library. I would have liked to see it happen though. This is the World Cup. You gotta do some spicy stuff. Live a little bit. Yeah, so this is still a pretty saucy consumed by 5 fires if he wants to do it at the end of this turn for gzoymp. Plotting some draw phase actions right now for both players. He plays a Tattooed Wanderer in draw phase onto the Crisis Breaker. Okay. So this will let him covert past Tadaka. He's going to pre-play this this fine Katana as well. I guess he wants to run it into Upholding Authority. Alright, so yeah, so the Tattooed Wanderer was the card drawn there, so I think we already saw the rest of his hand was Two Way the Crabs and Assassinate, Defend Your Honor, Fine Katana. Yeah, so he's going to go ahead and run into Upholding Authority here. Yakumo's ability is going to be on, so he's not going to bow as a result of this conflict. Unless there is another cloud that would be coming down. Only 1 cloud played so far for gzoymp. But he is down to 1 bids, so... And this is a Void Ring attack. I think he's only on... Let's take a look and see. He's on 2 Display of Power, so you could display a power here and then just delete this Yakumo, and that would be absolutely horrible for Kaikou. And we are going to see no defense. And we're just going to Tadaka here. Take a look at the last 4 cards in his hand. We already knew this. I don't think it was necessary to Tadaka just yet. But I guess now you just go ahead and take this Defend Your Honor. Way the Crab comes out now. Sack the Gallant Quartermaster. Get rid of the Solemn Scholar. Sure. Here's consumed by 5 fires. Okay, yeah, so he doesn't even need to display a power here. He's just going to go ahead and delete Yakumo. Actually, both of these characters are pretty deletable. I think you probably want to just get rid of the Crisis Breaker maybe, since it can covert people. Game is over, yeah. This is definitely not good. So Way of the Crab will be gone here. And now I think we're just going to see 2 attacks. He voided Tadaka. Yakumo is deleted. So now just the Crisis Breaker remains. He can stop 1 unopposed attack here by moving the Crisis Breaker in. Actually, he can stop both of them. He can move the Crisis Breaker in on Paul. And then restand the Crisis Breaker on military attack. So it's not over yet. Gzoymp still needs to actually kill him. But it's definitely not looking anywhere close to good for for Kaikou. There's the break on Midnight Rebels. Discards a card. It happens to be Butchered, so that's pretty sick. Crisis Breaker is now dishonored. Against the Waves on Tadaka. Okay, now it's actually over. So we're going to see this attack here at this air attack at Upholding Authority. Just send both of them in. Crisis Breaker, ready himself, just to save the unopposed. If you are going to die, at least die not dishonorably. I don't want to say honorably, but at least you're defending your provinces to the last breath. And so that's going to be a break here for gzoymp. Hand is revealed. We see Bonsai, Clarity of Purpose, and Court Games. Early GG comes out from Curlis. Game's not over just yet, but it is more or less GG. Kaikou saying, 3 words, must discard. I'm not sure what specifically this is in reference to, but with the Fate Phase here, Kaikou is going to get dishonored, and gzoymp's going to win the game. So Greece is going to take game 1 of the set. So that is 1-0 for Greece. We'll move on to the next game. And we'll see if Spain can rebound from this first loss. Curlis talking big right now. He is playing next. Some confusion right now going on with the word counts and math. Must discard is in fact 2 words. I don't know what number there is, but we'll let it rock for now. So